That day, they forced me to perform in front of the officer. With nothing but my mind, I bent a 10-pound bell into a twisted wreck of metal. But he wasn't impressed. Instead, he pointed at a coin on the table and ordered me to move it into his hand. If I failed, my mother would pay with her life. I tried with everything I had, but fear broke my concentration. I watched helplessly as my mother fell before my eyes. In that moment, my world shattered. I wasn't even 10 years old, yet the rage inside me burst free. I tore apart the surrounding steel, ripping soldiers limb from limb. 2 of them died where they stood. The officer only laughed. That was what he wanted to see all along. He placed the coin in my hand, then locked me away in a facility, determined to study and exploit what I could do. Years later, I escaped. I was no longer a boy, but a man with only one purpose: to find the officer who murdered my mother Sebastian and make him pay in blood. I tracked him to the highest halls of power. When a banker refused to reveal his location, I forced the metal from his own fillings to twist inside his mouth until the agony broke him. He gave me a name. But when I arrived, Sebastian was gone. Only his men remained. Their weapons became their own executioners as I turned steel and lead against them. When I finally faced him, I discovered he was no longer just a man. Sebastian had made himself into something more he could absorb any blast, any surge of energy, and feed on it, growing stronger, living longer. Anyone who tried to kill him was reduced to ash by the very force they unleashed. Still, I fought him. With the professor's guidance, I honed my gift. I learned to pull satellites out of orbit, to drag Sebastian's submarine from the depths and slam it against the waves. Revenge was within my grasp, but when I looked into his eyes, he hadn't aged a day. My attacks bent to his will. The metal I hurled became fuel for his power, and he hurled it back at me tenfold. I nearly died under the weight of it. At the last moment, the professor locked onto his mind, freezing him long enough for me to act. He urged me to tear away Sebastian's helmet without it. His thoughts were vulnerable. I obeyed, and the professor's controls slipped into his skull, but I knew it wouldn't last. The professor wanted him alive. I wanted only one thing. I remembered my mother. I remembered the helpless boy I once was. Slowly, I placed Sebastian's helmet on my own head, severing the professor's hold over me. Then I raised the coin, the same coin the officer once demanded I move to his hand. This time, it cut through Sebastian's skull. When it came out the other side, slick with blood, he was dead, and my mother was finally avenged. But in that act, I defied the professor. I chose my own path. From that moment on, I was no longer Eric in their eyes. I became what the world would come to fear: Magneto,